What's up guys? So I have another order flow trade setup example for you today. This one happens to be another CVD Divergence based thesis. This one's from today, which is January 23rd. I don't think you guys will see this video today because I have a different video coming out today, but I think you will still want to see it. So this is what the trade looks like on TradingView. This is a 1 minute chart. The reason why I have two entry boxes is because my first target, I took it off 6122, which was a large participant from yesterday, and my other target was 6130 supply zone. So before we get into it, I just want to tell you guys, if you want to see order flow based content or threads, go check out my X account. I'm going to be posting screenshots and breaking down order flow reading stuff on there, so go follow that. And also, if you want more videos like this, give me a like and subscribe to my channel. But yeah, let's get into it. So to give you guys some context, let me shrink myself real quick. This is a pretty zoomed out view, but to give you guys some context, from the London session or the overnight session, price bounced off 6100, which I read as a bullish sign. So my bias today was pretty much leaning bullish. And on top of that, the VIX was down like 1.5–2%, which is a sign that dips will get bought up. So that's the general context. And then on top of that, we also were kind of selling off from a supply zone. So we're in between a tight 30-point range where anything could have happened, but I was basically watching for dips to get bought or for selling to occur at 6130 supply. So that's what I was watching today. And also on top of that, we had Trump speaking at 10 a.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. So I really wasn't expecting much to happen until he started speaking or after he started speaking. That was my mindset coming into the session. I was basically, my goal was watch what happens at 6130 supply or look for reasons to get long since we bounced off 6100 during the London session. So like I said, today's setup is going to be another CVD Divergence based thesis. Yeah, it was a pretty lackluster session for the most part until Trump started speaking, but I did notice a few times hints that you should get long. So I'm going to show you guys those right now. All right, so we open up. Let me slow this down. So starting off the session, we can see buying is entering the market. There's a bit of a CVD divergence here, but this is nothing really notable. It doesn't really catch my eye, especially because it's in the first few minutes of the open. I don't like taking setups during those times unless they're like very blatant, because they can be kind of misleading. But yeah, like I said, the session was pretty lackluster. You'll see here in the first like 30 minutes, we trade in like a 7-point range. So if you are trading, then I'm sure you already know that those are just not conditions that you want to trade. They're not favorable. So I would normally stay away from this, but I already know that Trump's speaking, and I already know that that will cause something to happen that I could potentially spot an opportunity. So nothing really notable has happened yet. I do see this slight divergence here, but like I said, like no volume. There has not really been too much volume behavior that I'm like, that's sticking out at me. The one thing that is kind of sticking out at me is the DOM. You can see in the Delta, it is more of a heavy, you see more buying than selling on the DOM, which could indicate a few things, but since volatility is so low that you would probably not want to take this as absorption until you saw something that really screamed at you. But so it's obvious that buyers are kind of in so far, but now we just want to wait for something anomalous or that catches our eye. And that's about to happen pretty soon, I believe. Let me just get to the part. All right, so all right, so right here, you can see this is probably the most selling pressure the session has seen so far. And you can tell that by obviously the big red aggressive volume dots. And then on top of that, if you look at the CVD, you can see this is the largest down trend, if you even want to call that. This is the largest downward move since the session has opened. And we are just over 30 minutes into the session. But one thing I do pick up on is you can tell by this large bubble that selling volume is having a tougher time moving price downward. And on top of that, this is where the CVD divergence is pretty much formed. You can compare it to these lows from right after the open to right here. And notice how they're so close to these new lows, yet the CVD is clearly an uptrend or seems to be putting in a higher low, which is pretty like decently higher than these lows at the beginning of the session. So I would now be watching if price gets met with aggressive buying volume right now, or what happens if we kind of mess around for a little bit and then come back in to test this area. So like I said, I was watching for aggressive buying volume to meet that selling, and you kind of do see that right here by the volume delta bar. And this is when I decided to put the position on a demo account because my account is still inactive to be traded. But this would have been a good entry right here. So I put it on at 1475, I believe. Yeah, so I did get on this little retest here. I decided to put it on 1475, and then I put my stop loss below where the divergence formed. So that was right here, 6112. And I decided that this would be the point of invalidation for my thesis. So let's just see what happens there. All right, so I'm gonna pause right here. You can see that aggressive selling volume came in, and once again, we can see by the large volume bubble that it's having a hard time moving price lower. And although there is less of a divergence, although that there is less of a divergence formed on a CVD, we are still above my point of invalidation. So at this moment, all I'm thinking is if aggressive buying volume steps in after here, that this is a good point to get long once again. So if I wasn't in this trade already at 1475 right here, I would have put it on again right here. And my confirmation would have just been this aggressive selling volume failing to move price lower. So right after that, you can see aggressive buying comes right in. And this is when we're kind of off to the races. So to tell you guys my targets, so I targeted 22, which was a large participant from yesterday who had a large order there, and then we reclaimed it and bounced off of it. So I just thought that this would be a possible point of interest. And on top of that, there was an order here at 23.75, but I didn't, or 23, but I didn't know if we were going to get filled there or not. So I just put it right below that at 22. And then my remaining, I targeted the 6/130 supply zone, and I was expecting Trump to get us there if we were going to get there. So 10 a.m. Trump starts speaking, and you can see, all right, so Trump starts speaking, we get the volatility. Price moves down with some selling volume, but immediately buyers step in and scoop it all right back up immediately. And this is when I get filled, I believe, like right up here. So boom, I'm filled, and that was the trade. So to show you guys the first half, I took half off at 22. That was a 2.6 R. And then if I would have held the remainder, it would have been a 5.36 R. Or if I would have held it all, it would have been a 5.3 R. But I would say that this is a good entry and a good trade thesis. Had a point of invalidation. And that's all you have to do. You just have to manage your trade and look for reasons to stay in it or look for reasons to get out. And I can tell you that right here, although it looked scary in the moment, this was another reason to stay in the trade. And then also right here, just another reason to stay in the trade. After you get that sweep downward, you see the buying volume step right back in. So that was a CVD divergence trade thesis again for you guys. Probably won't see this video today, which is the 23rd, because I have a different video coming out. But hope you enjoyed. If you guys want more videos like this, give me a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.